The Big 12 season opener, January 6th, preview and picks edition on the Big 12 Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, a sports research platform for parlays, props, game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. We're also brought to you by the Hockey Gambling Podcast, brand new YouTube page. The Hockey guys are giving away a hoodie to celebrate their new YouTube channel. Register over there today at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP. Welcome, everybody, to the Big 12 College Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Oh, boy, it's here, baby. Big 12 basketball, 18-game gauntlet, 18 rounds of everybody beating the hell out of each other. Thank God. I've been waiting all fucking year for this. 2 months of chaos. Best league in the damn land. If you're wondering who you're listening to, I am Moneyline Mac, a.k.a. the former video coordinator for Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. And second man up in the box, you guys know him. Well, he's got family ties everywhere in the Big 12. He was born in Provo, Utah. Shout out to the Cougs. He's got family names Iowa, Cyclone Nation, and he lives in Morgantown, West Virginia. He is a walking contradiction. He is Rambling Rush, co-host of the Ryan and Rush Show. Rush, what's up, brother?
Guess my ties are a little newer than Troy's ties. He's got that old school Big 12 in him. I guess he's got a little SEC blood in him now too. So, hey,
yeah.
Welcome to the Big 12 basketball BYU, and obviously we got Houston with West Virginia. Of course, we'll talk about this game a little bit funny, but BYU got their first football win against Cincinnati in Provo. So we'll see if basketball has the same thing in store.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, and 7 games on the slate tomorrow. We'll dive into each and every one. But third man in the box, and Rush already talked about it. He's got family ties everywhere spread among the Big 12, whether it's Norman, Stillwater, Waco, Fort Worth. He's everywhere. He is the green mowing, weed smoking, weed growing, too. There you go, right there. He is the Big 12 guru, Troy Chewning. What's up, man?
I'm sitting over here watching my country club sports on my phone. If you saw me laughing, it was because Scotty Scheffler just drove it into the group in front of him and hit the ball about 30 yards past where everybody was getting ready to hit their approach shots. So, yeah, start the new year with some bets. Big 12 number 1 handicap. Remember who's playing at home. Just everybody out there. Remember who's playing at home.
Yeah, I think we've learned that with the Big 10. The Big 10's kind of kicked off and the Big East is kicked off. So, Let's dive right into it, though. Let's talk about kind of where we are in the Big 12 because everybody's 0-0. It's a new season. Let's see how technology savvy I can be here today. Putting it up, I'm pulling up the KenPom rankings for everybody just so sometimes you got to sit back and dive into it. Looking at that, any specific team that stands out that's a little, I don't know, surprises you that they're that high? I think BYU is going to be the clear one that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb, being 4th in the country according to KenPom. But you look at it: Houston 13-0, BYU 12-1, Baylor 11-2, Kansas 12-1. You dive into it, it's 8 teams in the top 36, 9 in the top 40. So 10 teams positioned very nicely for an at-large bid. And then obviously you got the group below with UCF, K-State, Oklahoma State, and our Mountaineers. Rush. A lot of work to do for those 4 teams. Plenty of opportunities. Everything's going to be a quad 1 win. Rush, the floor is yours with your thoughts on this beautiful league and where we're at on Friday, January the 5th.
So I think we both agree, or most of us agree here, that probably BYU and Oklahoma are a little higher than they should be. Obviously, the one time Oklahoma was really tested was against UNC, and of course that was a loss. Where the teams more on the bottom that could be up a little bit more. I'm curious how Cincinnati's going to do. I actually do think that's going to be a game in Provo. We'll see what happens at the end. Obviously, it's at the Marriott Center, the second largest on-campus basketball arena behind Syracuse, of course. But I'm really curious, obviously, not to be a homer, but the West Virginia too. Houston joins the Big 12. Might be a little welcome to the Big 12, Houston, tomorrow. But obviously, with everything that's gone on with West Virginia, they're 5-8. It's not a real 5-8. I would say, Ryan, we talked about it on the Ryan and Rush show, and go check that out, of course, that their real start was probably that UMass game against Frank Martin, and they're 1-3 since then. So hopefully they can turn it around here at the start of the Big 12 season. Obviously, Jesse Edwards with his broken wrist too. We still haven't had a full roster, even at the start of Big 12 play. But hey, good things can happen when you play like you have nothing to lose. Curious about Kansas State as well. We talked about it with Tang, and there's something going on there. Obviously, we know what happened with Tomlin, and something didn't feel right. And then they started to get a little thing going there. So my two biggest teams, I will say, Ryan and Troy, going into this season, with the biggest question marks, are TCU and Kansas State. Really curious how they do in Big 12 play.
I'm most interested in this Iowa State Oklahoma matchup, and I kind of wish that you could split this chart up to see what Iowa State's numbers would be home versus away, because Iowa State going on the road to Oklahoma just immediately makes me, the handicap is Oklahoma's playing at home, and they're pretty similar teams, but Iowa State seems to be that one that has the biggest difference between playing at home and like spanking teams that they're right around, and playing on the road and kind of not showing up as much. So we'll see how that goes, but that's the most interesting one for me this week, I think. Yeah,
and unfortunately, expansion, obviously, it's nice bringing in Houston. It's nice bringing in BYU. It's nice bringing in a UCF and Cincinnati, but we do lose the true round robin gauntlet where everybody gets to play everybody. Going over to another tab, let's look at the futures market. So I think we all agree that BYU is a little bit inflated on the KenPom side of things. Looking at the other aspects. See, this is technology, man. This is
best friend and worst enemy.
There you go. What if I do this? Is it up there? There it is.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just grab my magnifying glass real quick.
Well, I had to screenshot the whole fucking league. So looking at the futures, everybody zoom in on youtube.com/college experience. Kansas leading the way at plus 290, 230, I think is the best. Sorry, plus 290 is the best odds. That's over at DraftKings, it looks like. Houston's actually plus 230, so kind of Kansas, Houston, even. They got BYU slotted third at 7-1, Baylor 8-1. Then you start getting into your longer shots with a Oklahoma there at 14-1, Texas 20-1, TCU's in that 20-1, as well as Iowa State. And then you get in the 30-40 range with just good programs. But they got a lot of work to do. Texas Tech, K-State. And then you get your four long shots with Cincinnati 80-1, OK State 150-1, UCF 150-1, and West Virginia's 250-1. Sign me up. Give me a little bit of dollar menu on that 250-1.
Yeah, that's worth a McDouble.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, fucking McDouble with inflation's fucking $5 nowadays. So thank you very little. But I digress. Anyway, let's give out a future. So I don't think we actually all agree who's going to win it. First off, who do you think will win it? And then we'll give out a sleeper as well, because I see chat wants a future long shot. So that's why I want to do the segment before we dive into games. So I'll lead it off. Actually, Rush, you lead it off.
So who I think is going to win the Big 12? I'm taking Baylor plus 800. I think they're really going to turn it around. Well, I guess not turn it around, but really peak when they need to. Later on in the season, I also think that's really good value at plus 800. Obviously, we know, especially the Big 12 tournament time, things happen. Certain coaches can get heart attacks and have a stint in place. Shouldn't make light of that situation, of course. We never want anything bad happening to people outside the basketball court. Long shot, man. I would go Kansas State. I know we talked about it.
Yeah, Tang.
But Tang, maybe they do figure it out around February. anything can happen. Obviously, we know anything can happen in March Madness, but March Madness really starts at these conference tournaments. A couple of these teams, the Kansas, Houston, maybe they get bounced in the semifinals because they're tired. And to them, March Madness, the actual tournament means more to them. I would go Kansas State as my long shot. I will say, I don't know if we're doing this or not, but my bad value bet, I would not be anywhere near this, is BYU. I know we have Ryan Hasey in the chat. He's probably a bigger BYU fan than I am. He's always nudging me to pick BYU. I will say the one time I finally picked them was against Utah, and I said they never lose that game, and of course they ended up losing that game. I wouldn't go anywhere near BYU plus 700. I think that's terrible odds. So those are my two. The probable with good odds, Baylor plus 800, and I'll take K-State with the long shot. What is that? Plus, let me get my magnify, plus 4,000.
40-1. Troy, where are you going? Are you on the Sikkim train as well? With
I love the 8-1 number for Baylor, but when Rush picks Baylor, that really, really scares me.
Oh shoot! Oh
he
man!
did it again.
Well, it's got to even out. It's gambling, right?
Yeah. So hopefully you're at the 50% number, and they don't end up like 7th or 8th in the league here. If they're gonna give you almost 3-1 for Kansas, you got to take that. It's the Big 12 regular season. You might hate them, you might not like them. It's just the boring pick, but yeah, you got to take them there. Baylor at 8-1 is definitely worth a sprinkle, at least a little bit. But I started the show off talking about them. I think maybe the offense travels a little bit better this year, and you get a 20-1 on Iowa State. That might be my longer shot pick there. I'm not really willing to go any further down the list in this league without, the chance of being an elite team. I don't know if I see that from Tech, K-State, and Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's another interesting one. If they're able to, go to Provo, and even if they lose the game by a couple of points, I know we'll talk about it later, but at 80-1, and they're what, 11-2 right now?
Yeah, I'm with you, Troy.
That seems like a kind of a blind sprinkle.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's why their future's in. The chat's asking, is this regular season or postseason? This is only regular season. Mm-hmm. So when we get to the last game and that's played, they're going to release the tournament odds that Saturday or whatever before the tournament. Or I think it comes out like a week. So it'll come out based off of where the teams are seated. So this is easy for me. Kansas is going to win the league.
Because it's the regular season, you got to get Kansas.
Yeah, I mean, you could get cute. You could take Houston. You could take Baylor. I'm not. 3-1 Kansas. Bill Self wins, championship number like 16, it seems like, 17. He's got more seasons coached at Kansas than losses at the PHOG. So, you're going to at least go 9-0 in those games.
Ryan, there's a little – I need to clarify this because I might be messed up myself with my bets. Is this is regular season? I thought this was conference. Like, who wins the Big 12?
No. This is regular season.
Who wins the Big 12 regular season title?
Yeah. Throw out that Kansas State bullshit that I said. I was thinking maybe they get a little magical run. Kansas is absolutely the right side to this. You guys are right. And I'll throw out Baylor too. No, sorry. Yeah. Because then I saw in the chat too. So a little dysfunction as well.
If Rush is off Baylor, I'm on Baylor.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, I'll make a deal with you, Troy. We'll make a
we'll swap, but I'm still betting Kansas.
I'll take Kansas. You take Baylor.
Well, I'm still betting Kansas too, but you can take Kansas.
Okay, but
for the sake of the
I do like
show.
the Iowa State though. If we're talking dark horse, something, I will agree Iowa State with the dark horse. So I'm gonna go Kansas, Iowa State. I apologize to the great audience out there. I thought we were doing actually the Big 12 champ. Okay, so
yeah, and if you want the Iowa State angle, I got their schedule pulled up. They do not go to the PHOG. So I think if you're going to have to find a way to win the Big 12, you got to avoid going to the PHOG. West Virginia doesn't go to the PHOG. So, yeah, get in over there, 250-1. Just kidding. I'm
dollar to win 250. Why not?
Why not? I'm with you. Kansas is going to win it. I think the worst bet, honestly, is Houston. Houston's not going to win the league. They're not just going to walk. They're not going to walk into the best league in America for the first time and go 14-4. Honestly,
they're in a weird position where Kelvin Sampson's coached in the Big 12 plenty for them to not really be a true rookie in terms of how they're going to approach it. I think I think Houston has a chance to win, and I think that the odds show that Vegas knows how good of a team they are. But I still don't think you can stray from Kansas in a regular season Big 12 bet.
No, I'll make the prediction. Houston 11-7 in Big 12 play.
Really
that'll get you.
Seven.
That'll get you in the 3, 4, 5 range. I mean, everybody, the winner will go 13-5. It's rare that you may get that elite Kansas or the elite Baylor team from a couple years ago that went 16-2 or whatever. But that's not usually what happens.
Not going to happen this year.
Yeah, not happening this year. So, all right, that's enough futures. Long shot. I think we all agreed Iowa State 20-1 just with the way the schedule breaks. But we pretty much all agree on Kansas. So, yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I hate fucking taking Kansas. But if Kansas is going to fucking win, I'm going to make some fucking money. And I'm telling you right now, the easiest bet in college basketball, if they fall down double digits at any point in the PHOG, you fucking bet them right there. You fucking bet them because you know those 3 fucking zebras are going to give them every call to get them to win. It's the greatest bet in all sports. So, Russ, did you have anything to add?
No, along with you think Houston's a bad bet, I will still agree that Oklahoma, BYU bad bets too. Those odds are terrible. They're not winning.
You're buying them at the top.
Yeah, and I don't think that they really have the team makeup to win the conference. I'm sure they'll win a couple of big games, whether it's a couple on the road and some at home, but I don't think that they'll do the 13 or 14 conference wins between either one of those schools.
Couldn't agree more. All right, let's hit an ad break, and then let's dive into these 7 matchups that we got on slate, and we'll give out a lock dog. We're not teasing college basketball.
Brendan Todd Birdie.
Money line round robin at the end. But first, we got to talk about Underdog Fantasy. And Underdog is a great way to play alongside your favorite players all season long with NFL, NBA, NHL, college hoops, college football. Simply pick higher or lower so that you can get your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. Troy, I know you got some Underdog plays geared up, higher or lower. What are we looking at here, my man?
For the basketball tomorrow, they already have a couple of the games with some of the props out, and I'm going to go for you guys. I'm going Raekwon Battle higher than 15.5 points.
Well, I hope you're right.
And LJ Cryer higher than 22.5 point rebound and assist combo. That's just a normal 3-1 play. And then the bonus play, since we're up 25 units in the last 3 nights in hockey, we're going the game that I'm going to here as soon as this is over. We're going with Sebastian Aho on the Hurricanes over half a goal or higher than half a goal, and Anthony Mantha higher than half of a point. Those are 2 spicies, so it's a 4.6 to 1. That's not a very bad bet in my mind. Aho always scores against the Caps, and Mantha's been on a roll. He might be the best player on the Capitals.
You heard the man. Get over there and make sure you follow all Troy's plays in the game of hockey. Watch along, make your picks, maybe make a little bit of cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you use that sign-up code right at the top of your screen, TCE SGPN, Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by the Hockey Gambling Podcast, and they're giving away a free hoodie. They just launched a new YouTube channel. Go over there, celebrate, subscribe, give a good review. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP. That is the sportsgamblingpodcast.com/HGP. All righty, we are back on the Big 12 college experience. Time to finally pick some games. And what better place to start in this beautiful league than at the PHOG? Let's start at the PHOG. 2 o'clock Eastern, CBS. TCU, the Horned Frogs. I've actually been a little bit underwhelmed with this TCU team. They did lose a lot from last year. Kansas, 12-1. We talked about it. They are a little bit overrated, in my opinion. That doesn't mean I think they suck, Kansas fans, but I think they are a little bit overrated. TCU actually won at the PHOG last year by 20. It was a rare instance where Kansas struggled at the PHOG. The year before that, they lost by 4. They, for some reason, really struggle with TCU, and I think it's because TCU is so fucking physical and the athletes. I'm going to take the points. I think TCU is actually going to probably control the game. I think this is that game where Kansas comes back and wins it by 5 or 6. They trail a bunch of this game, grind it out. They struggle with athletic teams. TCU is that. Give me the points with the Frogs. Troy?
I see this one at 8.5 on DK right now. So I don't know if that's going to go up or down just because of last year's result, but I would assume that Kansas kind of wants to prove a point after getting thumped last year by this team. I'm going to lay the points. I'm going to lay it, whether it's at 8.5 or 9, either way. But I think the better bet for this one would be to wait until halftime and maybe live bet something in the second half for Kansas, whether it's like -4.5 or -5.5 in the second half.
Yeah.
Because I do think if TCU is going to play pretty well, they will hang with them for a little while. But you got to handicap 5 or 6 points for the refs at the PHOG.
Oh, at least.
So this is they're asking you to cover 3. Give me Kansas.
So you brought up these past couple matchups, Ryan. So last year, obviously, was that blowout that TCU just crushed him. I remember that I think it was the same time on CBS as well.
Yeah.
What the difference you have this year, and then the year following, they lost at TCU, but then they beat them by 4 the next time they played them. In those scenarios, when they've played TCU at the PHOG, it's 2 years ago. It was late. It was that first week of March. They had number 21 Texas on deck. Last year, I think it was Baylor was 13. They had him next. So a little bit of the look ahead, it happens. And Kansas is known to drop one at the PHOG here and there. But this time they have UCF on deck, and this is starting the Big 12 play. I think Kansas is going to remember, what TCU's done to them in the past couple of years. I don't think TCU's that same team. And I think with UCF next and your opening Big 12 play up, I think Kansas is here to make a statement. So I'm gonna lay the points with Kansas at -9. And I'm joined by our fellow friend who's back ready for action. Back ready to get some pleasure. He's all rested up. His loins have been rested after the nice holiday season. So we'll see how Kennedy is doing. And he falls on the ground because he wants nothing to do with TCU or the Fort Worth area over there. So 1 second, everyone. Sorry, technical difficulties. Kennedy's getting up and going again.
He's getting hard again. Here we go. The chat's making a good point. It is a revenge game for Uday, or however you pronounce it. Big man for TCU who played at Kansas. So. What did the coin have?
So I know why Kennedy fell off the table. He picked TCU and the Fort Worth, Dallas area where bad things happen. So he felt anyway. So he's with TCU.
So me and Kennedy on TCU. Rush Troy on the Jayhawks. Troy makes a good point. Look to live bet him. I'm letting you know right now too. I am on TCU with the points. If TCU punches them in the mouth and they go up 10, I'm going to fucking bet the shit out of Kansas. So I'll join you on that angle. All right, next up, and this is ridiculous. West Virginia is going to the unbeatable Houston Cougars. Houston is laying 21. I can't remember the last time I've watched a Big 12 game where I've had a 20-point line. Usually there's not a bad team in the Big 12. They're saying West Virginia is bad, but this is fucking ridiculous. West Virginia, yes, 5-8 on the outside surface. If you see the record, they just went toe-to-toe with Ohio State and Cleveland. Probably could have won the game, should have won the game, is what it is. Houston, 13-0, first time in the Big 12. All the pressure's on them. They're undefeated. They have the nation's longest winning streak. They play with their food in these home games. This is the Big 12. You don't lay fucking 20 points. This isn't the fucking American. Take West Virginia. This game is going to be a 1 or 2 possession game. This is a welcome to the Big 12. You can't overlook anybody in this fucking league. West Virginia has the guards to make shots to stay in the game. Yes, Houston's really good, but this is the fucking Big 12. Take the Mountaineers, and we'll see what the money line is. I may sprinkle some. This may be the shocker of the day. Troy, where are you going?
I mean, just looking at what West Virginia has done throughout the year kind of skews what I think of the team, because they're just now starting to get to that point where they're possibly gelling where everybody else was in the 5th and 6th game of the year. but I'm going to lay it. I've never seen
You're
a spread.
crazy.
I've never seen a spread this big in the Big 12, and that's my cue. I'm going to lay it. I know I'm crazy, and I know that there will be ways to live bet this and hedge out of it if I need to, but I'm going to go ahead and lay the 21. I think Houston is really, really good, and I love Kelvin Sampson, Oklahoma legend. So, and I know you guys aren't going to lay it, so I got to do something different than both of y'all.
Well, no, we appreciate it, Troy. It's like community service so that West Virginia will cover because you're taking Houston now. You don't have the
Yeah, we don't want to put the sweep out there.
No.
Yeah.
No.
For what it's worth for anyone, Houston's at Ames after this. I think that's another welcome to the Big 12. We'll obviously get to that game when we do. This is a lot of points. I think West Virginia is going to make this a game with you. I agree with you, Ryan. I could see it kind of be 1-2 possessions and then some fouls at the end. You know, West Virginia ended up losing by like 10, but that's obviously not the story of the game. 21 points is a lot. And I really, maybe now or never, but I got it. This is not the 5-8 West Virginia team. This is a different. I'm absolutely taking the points here with West Virginia. Kennedy is taking Houston.
So he's on Houston. Troy's on Houston. So we've been split 2-2 in the first two games. Real quick, before we dive into game number 3 in this slate, I love the way that they have these games staggered out too. We got to talk about Game Time. Rush, you're a big advocate of the Game Time app. Used it plenty over the years. It's been great to us. Tell us a little bit about this Game Time.
Game Time's fantastic. I've been using it since its inception back in the mid-10s. I've used it. Obviously, we've gone to Nationals games, met up with Troy, Ryan. Obviously, when I'm back in the DC area, love going to Caps games, Nationals games with Troy, meeting him over there. Of course, we used it out in Vegas for my bachelor party for the nice UNLV Hawaii game. Was simple, couple quick clicks. It was good to go. It's great. You can see your seats where you're going to be looking at. It's the easiest app to use. If for some reason, obviously there's other ticketing sites out there, they'll work with those other ticketing sites to get you the best deal to transfer your tickets over. It's a fantastic app. I couldn't recommend it enough.
It's really great. And like you said, we've used it in the past. So get over there to Game Time. Snag those tickets without stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account, CFBX, $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, sports betting research platform for parlays, props, and game lines. And, you know, they got historical data with the NFL, NBA, and soccer bets. Stop betting in that dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft a more intelligent, data-driven parlay. Download the Hall of Fame Bets or visit HOFBets.com. Code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. We are back on the Big 12 College Experience talking openers. And real quick, everybody, I know everybody's probably like, oh, Max is taking fucking West Virginia once again. Last couple times they've been big dogs and I've laughed at the lines. Virginia lost at the buzzer. Ohio State lost at overtime. So West Virginia is a good dog team. Back against the wall, no pressure, play with house money. Let's move along. Go Mountaineers. Fuck Houston.
Go Mountaineers.
Welcome to the Big 12. Just kidding. I actually really like Kelvin Sampson. I'm glad they're in the league, but I hope you fucking miss every shot tomorrow and lose. This game is interesting to me. Baylor's going to Oklahoma State. You know what's weird, Troy? And Troy definitely knows this. And I know in the chat we got my buddy Pat Schulte. He worked for Mike Boynton and works for Brad Underwood at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has always fucked with Baylor. It's their athletes. And Mike Boynton, like we've talked about numerous times how he's on the hot seat and it's most likely going to be his last year, but he's always good in the Big 12 games. For some reason, they play their best ball in January and February, and then they kind of peter out in March. I'd like Oklahoma State to potentially win this outright. Baylor has also been known under Scott Drew to start slow in the Big 12. Last year, I think they were 0-3 to start the league, and 1-4. Oklahoma State usually plays better in Waco than Stillwater, which is the other ironic thing, but it is the new arena. I'm I think they're begging you to take Baylor. I like the athleticism. I think Oklahoma State's actually played better over this last month. Everybody's so out on them because of how bad they were in November. Baylor's not there defensively. They're still pretty fucking soft, in my opinion. Give me the Cowboys, and I think this is a money line dog play. Troy?
Yeah, we were talking about it before the show, right before Rush jumped in. This seems like a money line play on Oklahoma State playing at home. I don't think Baylor's played that well at all throughout the beginning part of the year. And of course, that Michigan State game really scares you because they show you that the ability to grind might not quite be there yet. You could score an extra 8 or 10 points and cover a line, even if you don't win a game. And so I think I'm going to take Oklahoma State and the points here. And I'm definitely going to lay the money line. That seems like a way more higher value play. And what's the point in gambling if you're not trying to win big? It's like the Mighty Ducks 2, the coach of the Hawks. It's not worth winning if you can't win big. So I think the money line here is the play.
Do you know how I see this game going down? I literally see it is Baylor's up 8 points, and Oklahoma State has that last couple seconds to shoot a 3, and they score. And they cover they lose by 5 points and cover the spread.
It'll be even dumber. Like Baylor fouls the guy on a layup and gives him an and one for a 3.
So that's how I see this game going down. I think Baylor does squeak it out. I guess this is a little Chewning Civil War, isn't it? Baylor versus OK State.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to take the points with Oklahoma State. I'm not going to take the money line. I don't think they will win outright, but I'm telling you, I have a feeling something dumb's going to happen at the end where Baylor's leading the whole time. They should cover this game, and then something stupid happens. We've seen it time and time again. Kennedy's all over the Texas schools.
Really?
Yeah. Taking Baylor as well.
And I got it pulled up right here, guys. The last 2 years in Waco, I remember this game because I had Oklahoma State. Baylor made 2 free throws to cover the 4. They won by 6. A couple years ago, they won by 2. And then the Cowboys were able to win a couple years before that. So it's been a tight game every single time that Baylor's gone to Stillwater. In other words, it's another Big 12 game. And you said you said Kennedy took Baylor?
Yes. So Kennedy helped us out, not have the graphic across. So
here you go. I'm writing it on my little notes. So
gotcha. I got it here
for
too,
the post game show.
Yeah.
You know, it might have a couple cocktails, couple beers tomorrow. Not a couple. All right, let's move along.
Couple for breakfast.
Yeah, a couple of mimosas. UCF is going to K-State. K-State's laying 3.5. This is the smelliest line of
this line reeks.
But so everybody's probably saying, why is K-State only laying 3.5? I don't know the status of point guard Tyler Perry. He went down with an awkward injury. They had another injury as well the other night against Chicago State. David Nagesson, he also went down. I don't know if the kid from Sanford's going to play Glover. So there's a lot of injuries that are playing into this and why K-State is only laying 3.5. But I'm not taking UCF on their first fucking road game in the Big 12. I think this is if you want to take UCF, you're getting cute, man. Get K-State, old Big 12 over new Big 12. They're gonna grind that thing out. I think they're going to win by like 6 or 7. Didn't we have a smelly line in football this year too for the Big 12 opener? UCF went to Manhattan, and we're like, oh man, this line reeks. Should we take UCF? And then K-State just railed their ass. This is K-State. Jerome Tang. That place will have a good atmosphere. Let's go K-State. Ryan Hastie's on the very, very shiny Knights. He's getting cute.
Yeah, call me a cutie pie. This is UCF on the road, and I think they might win this game outright. Kansas State has just not really impressed me in any aspect of the game so far, and then for them to also be banged up. I mean, maybe it works out like the football team where some of the guys that are fill-ins are, excited to be playing for Kansas State and play pretty well. But they're going to have to prove that to me before I put any money on them. And at 3.5, that's nothing. Again, I think the money line play is the value here, but on the Knights, I'm taking Johnny Dawkins here.
Johnny Dawkins.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mac. This is Kansas State by at least 4. This line does stink, but you got to think if Kansas State has any fight in them and they want to do well in the Big 12, obviously this is at home. It's against a newcomer. You have to win these games, and you have to do them somewhat convincingly because obviously there's computers and all that KenPom rankings and stuff. I'm taking Kansas State.
I kind of look at it like the Wichita game. That line reeked, and they just won by like 7. It'll be ugly, but they'll get it done.
Yeah, maybe one of those where fouling at the end is the thing to do it over the line. Kennedy's on Kansas State as well.
All right, Troy's in the foxhole with Ryan Hasty of the chat. So
I've been on UCF correctly though. The only game I picked against them was Stetson, I think.
Yeah, you do like the very, very shiny Knights. They fucked me against Ole Miss. I hate them. All right, this one is going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to this one. Iowa State, the Cyclones coming in. They're playing good basketball. Oklahoma clearly playing good basketball with that 12-1 record, ranked in the top 25. They're only laying 3. I was a little surprised that it's only 3.
Some places it's down to 2.5.
Yeah. This game, they played the second game last year, I believe, in Norman, and Iowa State was able to go in there and get the win. Iowa State's just a team that always overachieves, and Porter Moser just hasn't proven it to me in Big 12 play yet to trust him to lay points, especially at home. I'm going to be on the Cyclones. I think the Cyclones are going to win this game. I trust the toughness and the culture of that program in an opener here. They do have Houston on deck, but I don't think this is a look ahead. Like, this is an opener against Oklahoma. They're not looking ahead. It's not look ahead season where you're feeling yourselves. Oklahoma's in the top 15, so they're not looking past Oklahoma. Looking at Oklahoma, they got TCU on deck, so not really a look ahead there either. Give me the Cyclones to grind this thing out. They win by 3. Cyclones for me. TJ Otzelberger.
This is a what I would consider a 50-50 game, like a pretty very even matchup between both the teams, which means you keep it simple. The home team in the Big 12 gets my money. I'm laying the points with Oklahoma. But I do feel much more comfortable at the 2.5 number than the 3.
Yeah.
I think it could be an exact 3-point game.
It is worth noting that environment does suck.
Oh yeah, it's not a real home.
Terrible.
It's not a real home advantage. It's just more of the system says, Big 12 team at home. If you think that they're pretty even, maybe lean that way a little bit.
Ryan, you brought up that Porter Moser is he struggles when Big 12 play comes around. Well, they got a great solution. Join the SEC next year. Yeah, that's how you fix that. So this is that game where Iowa State looks over at Oklahoma and says, yeah, that little number next to your name, that's actually really ours, and we're going to show you why. And Iowa State wins. Iowa State money line here, but yes, definitely take them with the spread.
It's students or no students, Ryan. It doesn't matter. They don't show up in Norman the Thunder have killed the crowds in Stillwater and in Norman. It sucks. Those places used to be fucking bonkers. And Rush makes a good point. They're going to the SEC. Remember when they played the SEC last year and beat Alabama by like 30, and they were in last place in the Big 12? It was like, I think the Big 12 is the king of college basketball. The last place team just housed the number 1 overall seed by 30. Who'd you say Kennedy was on?
I didn't, but Kennedy's on Iowa State as well.
There you go. All right, Troy, back-to-back foxholes. Next up.
Stuck on the landlocked Oklahoma island.
Oh, this is a fucking easy game to pick. Texas Tech's going to Austin. Texas isn't really a wine and cheese crowd anymore. I will say Chris Beard fucking turned that thing around from like a engagement standpoint. Obviously, he had some dust-ups off the court too that went away, and now he's at Ole Miss. Yeah, I mean, dust-ups are dust-ups. It is what it is.
Tomorrow is dust-up day.
Tomorrow is dust-up day.
Tomorrow is dust-up. January 6th. Shout out to Jack Del Rio.
Completely off topic. That's the easiest bet of all time is take the TJ Watt sack over on January 6th against the black quarterback. I mean, come on.
Oh, I totally forgot that tomorrow's January 6th. So shout out to the dust-up crew. Probably canceled and fucking somebody.
I got to get my Ram head out for tomorrow.
Let's go Vikings. Skull. Nobody's going to put a hit out on my ass. All right, let's go. Texas Tech's going to Austin. I actually kind of did struggle with this game, but I'm going to go back to the previous game. And I'm going to trust the culture of Texas Tech with Grant McCasland. I think I'm getting a huge coaching advantage here. McCasland versus Rodney Terry. I know Texas has looked better with Dylan Dessou back in the lineup, that rim protector, but Texas Tech, man, this is their Super Bowl. They love to beat Texas. And I don't think there's much separating these two teams. I think it's going to be a physical war. I think Texas Tech is able to muck it up and get win number 1 here in the Big 12, and they'll grind it out. Same handicap as Iowa State. Give me the road team in this one.
Going against the system all day long, huh?
Yeah, it's the openers. The students aren't completely back on campus. They're coming back this week.
I think I'm going to lay it here. Just I can't get away from some of the Big 12 openers and the home teams being all pumped up, and you might get a little bit better of a turnout just because it's kind of the same idea as college football, where the beginning of the year, all the hope is there, and there's still a ton of well, what if we do play well? What if we do have a pretty good squad? I'm gonna lay it with Texas. I do think there's a chance that this number might get down to 3. I have seen 3.5 somewhere. It might get down to 3. But this one might also be another one where if Texas Tech is close enough, you might look at Texas in the second half, some of the second half lines. But I'm going to go ahead and lay it. I think the home system is something that's really, really stupid, but it works. So rolling with it.
This is an in-state rivalry game. I think this is a year Texas takes a step back. We'll see what Rodney Terry looks like in a first full year at Texas, but I could definitely see him taking a step back. I felt like last year's team was Chris Beard's team, and I got to take the points. I think this is a 1-possession game either way, 2 to 3 points. It comes down to the last shot to win it. So I'm taking the points with Texas Tech at +4. Now, if this went down to around 2.5, 3, then maybe, but 4 seems right to take Texas Tech. And we will see. And Kennedy is on Texas Tech as well.
Yeah, and if the game does come down to the wire, who's going to pucker up. That's the other thing. Like, Texas doesn't win close games. They win those front-runner games.
The referees will cover for the pucker.
Yeah, I don't know if Texas basketball moves the needle, though, like Texas football. So,
well, this is where the Big 12 evens it out.
Yeah.
They don't want Texas winning another.
And also,
I don't know.
While everybody's in here, we are going to do one of our special Sunday or Saturday episodes tomorrow.
Yes.
Probably right in the middle of the Cincy BYU game at night, just kind of recapping everything from the day. So if you guys are, having some drinks, watching college basketball all day, we'll be able to hit you up with the appetizer before the main college basketball show tomorrow night, just recapping some of these.
Well done, Troy. That's a great transition into Cincy BYU.
I was waiting for it. I
know.
I used all
right
7 of my brain cells on that one.
All right. So yeah, like you said, like Troy said, we'll be live tomorrow night. We're gonna do this during Saturdays in college hoop season, where we're gonna be the pregame show for the main show Saturday night. So we'll go live during this BYU Cincinnati game, recap the first 6 days, talk about the other games across the country too, before Colby and I and Noah and Troy and Rush will be sprinkled on there throughout the year as well. So, but this is the finale. This is the game 7 of 7. Cincinnati going to BYU. We both talked about it. Like, it's kind of, both these teams are really good, or their records are really good. I think they're still a little bit unknown with them. I just think, since the Super Soaker, as Colby said, in Provo, that place could be on fire for this Big 12 opener. And Cincinnati has not shown me shit away from home. I'm going to lay the big number. I'm going to lay 11. I think BYU is going to win this thing by 15. It is a lot. I know that, but I feel like they're begging you to take Cincinnati. I don't think they're begging you to take West Virginia. I think everybody just thinks West Virginia sucks. See 5-8. Cincinnati's 12-2, and they're getting 11 points on the road. This is the altitude that Rush talked about. Cincinnati's first game in the altitude. I think they're going to be sucking wind. Give me the Cougars in a blowout here to wrap up the first Big 12 Saturday.
This number is not scary at all. This is 4 trips down the floor for BYU. This is the 11 points is not enough. I almost see this going up as we get closer to the game. I'm laying it. This is no big deal. And BYU, I think, is one of the teams that is certainly challenging for that, like we were talking about on the last basketball episode, for that top tier in the league. Man, they can score the basketball, and good offense beats good defense all day, every day, especially this early in the season without everybody being clued in on their rotations perfectly and all that. BYU moves the ball. BYU shoots the ball. This is going to be an NBA-style game, and BYU is going to win, maybe even in that 20 number, but I like the 15. I think the 15 sounds about right.
Just like the Kansas losing by double digits at home autoplay, BYU, if I know they're not this is just for the season, just everyone. If they're ever a dog at home, take BYU. That's one of the easiest plays. I'm with you guys. I'll take the 11 points as well. Provo is going to be it. Honestly, besides the altitude, it's like I said to start off this episode, it's the second biggest on campus basketball arena for college basketball, right behind Syracuse. Like I said, on campus. I said on campus. Yeah, it'll be full with a bunch of Mormons on a sugar high, ready to just go. And hey, I mean, I don't know if this has anything to do, Ryan. I guess you can speak to this more than I can because you were in the industry. I mean, it's a late night for Cincy. 2 hours behind. I mean, I think that does have a factor in this as well. I think the 15 to 20 range is appropriate. So I'll lay the 11. There you go, Ryan Hasty. I'm with you. Let's go BYU. And there we go. We got our first all graphic across. Everyone's taking the Y, including Kennedy. Cincinnati's going to lose by 10. Sweep. There you go.
They're going to bank in a 3.
Yeah, there you go. So
absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad this league is back. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's give it out. Lock, dog, and we'll throw in a round robin, although we're not going to have the odds out yet. Lock and dog. For my lock, I'll go right back to West Virginia plus 21. Get the fuck out of here with that fucking number. I'm locking up the Mountaineers, just like I did against UVA, just like I did against Ohio State, getting those big numbers. Probably going to lose the game by 5, maybe 10. So Mountaineers are my lock. Dog. Which one do I like the best? I think I'm going to.
Are you trying to pick between Tech and Oklahoma State?
And Iowa State. Like I like all 3 of those. But
only one of them's at home.
Yeah. Let's cowboy it up. Guns up. Actually, no. I can see them losing right at the end. Oklahoma State always gives games away. Give me Iowa State to go into Norman. Get it done. Give me Cyclones, TJ Otzelberger and company. Get it done in Norman.
I know I'm going out on a limb here, but I'm locking Kansas in a home game at the PHOG in the Big 12. This might be something that you hear very, very constantly on this show out of me. It's just, if it's not broken, why try to fix it? I'm locking Kansas at home, and I'm going with UCF as the only dog that I actually picked. So kind of forced into UCF here. I'm not really impressed with Kansas State, and TCU kind of falls into the same area of they haven't quite proven it yet. So between those two, I feel pretty confident.
Take a little of each of yours. I'm going to lock Kansas, and I'm going to dog Iowa State.
There you go. Kansas, Iowa State.
What's the West Virginia money line?
I don't see it out yet.
That's bullshit.
The money lines.
Give me a nice 8-1 on the money line, baby.
The money lines won't come out till later. If we're gonna throw together a round robin, we all agreed on Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing that for a round robin. Okay, State.
Okay, State.
We need to throw
Iowa
in
State and Kansas.
I see Ryan Hasty singing in the chat. I said Kansas is my lock. I didn't say Kansas State. Kansas is my lock.
What about OK State, Iowa State, and BYU?
Well, it's not a dog.
Now we got to work some in here that we think are actually gonna win instead of just only.
Do we
picking.
think Iowa State? Are we all on Iowa State?
I mean, I was on Oklahoma to cover, but at that small of a number, I would not be afraid of throwing Iowa State into a parlay.
Do you guys hate throwing Tech in there?
Not a lot.
I'll throw Tech in there.
I think we all said that it was going to be a close game. You guys did Troy did delay it with Texas, but you said it was going to be a close game. So if we go Cowboys, Cyclones, and Red Raiders.
That's what I think. But I don't want to mess up Troy's picks.
I think the best way to do that would be to instead of moneyline dog them, would be to parlay them with the points.
We can do that, but that ruins the whole
really
moneyline dog. It's a moneyline dog parlay.
Yeah, but you don't get any money when you lose.
Let's give out two different ones. Let's go moneyline, and then we'll do a spread one. There we go. So we said for that one, Oklahoma State, which we all agreed on, and then we all said Iowa State, Texas Tech was going to be a grinder, both games. So we take all those money lines. Which spreads do we want to throw in there? BYU?
Probably BYU, West Virginia, Oklahoma State. Yeah,
we all agreed on Oklahoma State. We all agreed on BYU. Troy did take Houston.
Yeah, but at 21, that's an okay one to throw into a parlay.
Okay. So this is more, so this is just our parlay. West Virginia plus 21, Oklahoma State plus 5.5, BYU lay in the number. And then our dog round robin, throw those three puppies in there. Cowboys, so we got a lot of liability on Mike Boynton at home. Come on, Mike, don't fuck us at home. I'm glad I didn't take them as my dog, because then it would have been I got to go all in on this Oklahoma State game. And then we took the Cyclones and Red Raiders to say fuck you to the SEC. That's against Texas and Oklahoma. So, all right, Troy's got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. We'll be back on the college basketball experience later tonight. Troy, what you got going on before we get up on out of here?
Well, I got to go to the Caps game, baby. Watch them get their ass whooped by the Carolina Hurricanes. Oh, man. This is going to be a not fun one, I don't think. But, yeah, find me on over at the X at Troy Chewning. Just putting out the tennis and the golf picks over there instead of on this show all the time. But, tennis, hockey, and golf, we've had a pretty good start to the year. And I might even get a 78-1 outright winner here if Brendan Todd can take his goofy ass through the weekend with a lead. But glad to have the country club sports back, that's for sure. Something to watch in the middle of the day is always nice.
Indeed. Rush?
At Rambling Rush, Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate the support, everyone, as always, and looking forward to being the appetizer tomorrow. We'll see everyone again tomorrow. No doubt. Yeah, and great plug, Rush. Ryan and Rush Show, go check it out. We'll recap the games, and we're your source for all West Virginia games for you. I know we have plenty of Mountaineer fans on the college experience too, so get over there, subscribe to that. And like Troy and Rush said, we're there every Saturday in college basketball. So we're going to be the appetizer, the pregame show for the main show, and then we'll do we're figuring out the other details early next week where we'll dive into what the week's going to be. We'll project the lines, and then this Friday, this happy hour time slot that everybody likes with the opener for the Saturday game. So Friday, Saturday, early next week. Make sure you're subscribed so you get all the notifications. That's all I got. See you guys in a couple hours on the college basketball experience. Go Mountaineers. We are out of here. Go BYU Cougars, not Houston.